Whenever we look at lifestyles, we think that some of the lifestyles that are different from ours, we think there is a romantic angle to it. Especially when you think about people who, instead of living in a house, live in a van or a vehicle and decide to live in a very different way without acquiring a lot of things, a simple kind of lifestyle. Vanlife is a interesting book that I want to talk to you about. It is written by Naomi Grevemberg. And so till I read that book, I also had this feeling, this romantic feeling. You know what? This is the kind of life that I have. But there's a lot of freedom when you decide to not live in these constraints and try to live in a van, because you can drive, you can go to different places, you can stay there, you can live there. You can be simple, because sometimes you feel that so many things are there that I've bought that I'm not using. And how nice it would be to get rid of most of the things that I have and have a very simple life. I never thought that in order to get rid of the things that you think is excess, you don't really have to completely change your lifestyle. You just have to get rid of them. And that by itself is not easy. So, Vanlife is a book where in 2016, Naomi decides to make a change to her life. She sells everything that she has, gets into her 1985 van, and starts to live in it. But as you read the book, you find out it's not easy. It's very difficult. There needs to be a lot of commitment, and you need to really be into it to go through it. And I realized personally that that's not something that I can do. And there are many reasons for it. And I could probably, if I really want to do it, I could overcome most of the hurdles that I currently have and get into it. But I figured out that all those romantic feeling that of freedom, traveling and all those things, when I read the book, I realized that it's not for everyone. So, interestingly, a few points I want to actually share with you. One thing is taking shower. We take it for granted, right? You have a bathroom, you have a tub, you have hot water, and you could, if you want to take a shower in the morning, you can do it. If you don't have anything to do and you feel that you want to just stand underneath the hot shower, you can do that. There are so many things that we can do, which obviously when you're living from the van, when you're having a van life, you cannot do. Everything that we read, sometimes we feel that, wow, that's interesting. But only when we start to go ahead and start doing it, do we really get into the nuances and understand what problems are there, what things we should kind of be ready with. I have absolutely no idea of how cars work, which means if something breaks down, I take it to the service center and they fix it. There was never an interest for me that I wanted to learn what is happening. I rather get someone who knows about it to do it. But if you are planning for a van life, at least if I am planning for a van life, I know that I have to learn about vans or vehicles and cars and try to fix things. And if I don't have any interest for that, then how do I go with the van life? I can't. There is a friend of mine who currently he's doing a trip across India in a jeep, not a van, in a jeep where he has set up something that he can use. And this was before I read Vanlife book, and I was thinking, wow, that's nice, that's so much freedom. But then you might decide to not work in a normal job that you do from 9 to 5, which means there would be an impact on the income that you get, which also means that there are a few things that you will have to say no to. And that I think for us to dream about freedom, for us to dream about different lifestyles and think and romanticize about that is a whole different thing than actually trying to do it. And van life, at least for me, was a revelation. Not just about van life, but also it reminded me that things that you think are great are because you don't really know what goes into it to make that happen. I really, if you have not, if you don't know about van life, apparently there's a lot of people. So when you search for van life, Naomi's book is one that comes up, but there's so many websites, so many YouTube channels. There's so many people talking about what it means, and it's a big community. So you can be part of that community. So I'm sure you get a lot of help from those communities and what needs to be done, what you have to decide to make sure. One of the things that no one probably wants you to do is get into a kind of a lifestyle without really knowing about it and then start it and then feel bad about it. So I think if you really want to get into van life, maybe reading this book would be good, learning more about it. I read this book and I figured out that, okay, right, for me, I don't think that's something that I would be able to cope up with. So I decided that I'll make this video, tell you all that there is a book like this. And but it was an interesting read because there's so many things that I learned, so many things I had discounted when I thought about this whole van life. I had I'd really talked to someone just during the COVID time. I think when we had what's that called? I think when Clubhouse was there was a conversation going on about traveling, and I said, you know what I really want to do is buy a van, live in it, and just drive through the road, go to places, live there. Wow, that's so much of freedom. And when I said that, I really believed it is a lot of freedom, but I did not know all those things that have to come with making that decision. Van Life by Naomi, that's an interesting book. There are other books as well, but it'll be good to kind of understand what life on the road could be. You guys take care. I'll see you all next time. And if you have not subscribed to the channel and you're still watching this video, please do subscribe. Thank you.